All right, everybody. It seems like we are live right now. I do apologize for the tardiness, but hey, you know what? Life be lifing and traffic it be trafficking. Okay. So we have a lot going on today. We will be talking about the navigating the office life with financial pitfalls for Black professionals. Because, if you're Black, you're a professional in the workplace, you know how it goes. There's a lot of things that be happening, but we only going to highlight three things. So those three things that we're going to be talking about today, which is number one, the wage gap. Number two, the lack of networking opportunities. And number three is the microaggressions and the mental health. Okay. So stay tuned, stay locked in because we have a lot to dive into today. I look forward to seeing y'all in just a moment here. Hold tight.
In a world where financial advice is as blurry as a wild night of cheap jello shots, clear your head and your monetary halitosis with the About That Wallet Show hosted by Anthony Weaver. Leave those jello shots for the amateurs and learn to indulge in the top shelf bottles, baby. Now, here's your host, Anthony Weaver.
All right, all right, all right. So just so you guys know, just want to do some quick highlights for those of you who haven't been following the show or just brand new to the show. First off, my name is Anthony Weaver. I'm the host of the About That Water podcast show, where we help you build strong financial habits. Okay. So, and what we do is try to make sure that you have all of the things that you need to, be successful for you, your family, and also your community. So, everybody that you come in contact with will recognize, hey, you know what? This person got it. This person is a person I want to follow because I like the way how they carry themselves, all because the way how they like to operate. Now, so I do want to say that first. And those of you who have been following the show, I just want to say thank you for continuing to follow the show. If you're brand new to the show, go ahead on and like and go ahead on and subscribe. For those of you who are watching right now, or actually, if you listen to the sound of my voice right now, go ahead on and like that. Smash that like button because it helps people find me more, and also, hey, they get to enjoy inside some of this stuff. And let's get it going. So one of the things do you want to highlight, because this is one of the conversations that has been going on even at my job. We were just talking about it. Just being black, being a black professional. They try to say like, hey, go ahead on and do it. You can do whatever you want. But not understanding that the sacrifices that you do to do whatever you want. Okay. And having that ability to do whatever you want requires some sacrifice. And one of those sacrifices that you have to do is to see who was out there really your friend and see who the ones that are against you. And most of the time, you'll be surprised. You know, um, you'd be so surprised on what is going on in the world. You're there doing your job, head down, minding your business, and then someone will come by and do a snarky comment, and because of that, it can start waning on you. And you can hear some of these conversations, like, and what I'm talking about is mostly like those microaggressions. And when I talk about the microaggressions, it's that it can kind of hurt you. So you be like, all right, well, what is a microaggression? For those of you who are not too familiar, I'm actually trying to look it up so I can make sure I give you the proper definition. So the microaggression, um, by Webster's, microaggression is a term used for Commonplace verbal, behavioral, or environmental slights, whether intentional or unintentional, that communicate hostile or derogatory or negative attitudes toward stigmatized or culturally marginalized groups. So, perfect example, well, not perfect, but this is an example. Say that, you know, um, somebody might say, "Oh, you speak really well." And I'm like, when somebody said, or I've heard this before, when they were describing somebody else, they were like, "Oh, this person speaks really well. I think you will actually get along with them. Let's put you in contact with them." And then I'm like, just because they speak well doesn't mean I'll actually get along with them. It's like, can you do the job? Like, that's all I need. I don't need the passing and all this fun stuff. Or they constantly mess up your name or say, no, where you're really from. And it's like, well, from Maryland. It was like, but where are you really from? You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, like, why can't we just, who cares? Okay. We at work. Does it really matter where I'm from? Now, if we having a conversation and talking about ancestry and all that fun stuff like that, but maybe. But it's like, come on, what other examples have you guys heard out there when it comes to microaggressions? Because, one of the and I was looking up some articles while I'm waiting for some of you guys to put inside the comments. And I'm actually waiting for a phone call from somebody who's watching the show to kind of talk about this as well. Matter of fact, I'm not even we can wait or we can actually have people call in. So if you want to be call in and kind of talk about some of the microaggressions that you've experienced, or you can just leave it in the chat, is 833-699-2558. So while we waiting for that, let me get this article, let me get a little bit of tunes here as we transition over. So all right, look like we got a phone call.
Grasshopper, call for extend.
Hello, you're live with Anthony on the About That Wallet show. How are you?
Good.
So, tell me your name. Who is this?
This is Patrice. How are you?
What up, Patrice? How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. And give you some air horns for the day.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, you have something to say about being a black professional in the financial pitfalls?
Yeah, I do.
Mm.
So I'm glad that you touched on the microaggressions and what that means. I feel like when you're black and you're in the office, sometimes you have to deal with those daily, those sort of insults or slights or things that make you feel sort of like invalidated. And just speaking from my own personal experience, I also noticed a difference in how people treat you compared to your white counterpart. I don't know if I should give examples, but
I mean, yeah, give us an example because I mean, the treatment obviously I would say the platinum rule. We know the golden rule, which is to treat somebody the way how you want to be treated. But the platinum rule is to
right,
treat somebody how they want to be treated. So
right. I agree.
so when it comes to the treatments, can you explain just kind of give an example of what you're discussing?
Well, I think some of what you have mentioned when someone says, "Oh, you speak well," and it's like, what does that mean? Or, I'm shocked that you understand this or you get this. And my example is like at work, we have someone that is in a position that's actually below my position. And I've trained this individual, but just throughout the training and even now at work, she kind of speaks to me as if I don't have that superiority, I guess is what I'm trying to say. She does it when presented in front of management, like if an email is given in with management included on it, but just one-on-one. And, she's a young girl. She's white. She just finished grad school, but she's in her mid-20s. And I have way more experience than her, but I feel like some of her little digs and slight things that she says to me when she has questions about things are kind of, I don't know, they're definitely microaggressions. And I feel like microaggressions tend to generally be directed towards certain marginalized groups. So I think a lot of times, especially with us being Black men and women in the office, I'm sure some of us, if you work for the federal government, private practice, honestly, nonprofit, it doesn't matter where you go. You're going to tend to experience those, those acts being committed by people who may have the same or similar or less experience than you. And I don't know, oftentimes it's just sort of difficult to deal with. And so recently I've learned that they want to value her new place in the office with an increase in pay. And
Really?
it kind of supersedes some of the other girls in the office who are also on the same level as her. And they're not same complexion as her, but I just find it interesting that because of how she presents herself and I guess her background, and honestly, it doesn't matter because the other girls have some background too as well, but it's just the way that she presents herself. I guess people perceive her to be more knowledgeable, but her knowledge came from me. So,
Wow.
I mean, what they decide to give her doesn't threaten my position, but I feel like, this just reaffirms her place that she feels like she's up here. And she's super ambitious, which is great. But I feel like she's a little too ambitious to have just entered the workforce a few years ago. So I don't know. It's just an interesting thing that's happening and people can perceive. And I'm wondering if that's kind of a microaggression. It's a little bit of a slight or a dig where someone who presents themselves a certain way is perceived to like be so knowledgeable that they're getting an increase in their pay, whereas people who have been there for years and actually, have
Doing
more
the work.
experience are kind of right. I just think it's unfair.
So I get it. And I'm going back and forth with it. Only because I see how it will come off. But not to go against anything that you're saying. I'm just trying to take a different approach from a management perspective. With you guys with the experience, you already know everybody. Would it be fair to say that she just presents well, or she presents herself only in the opportunities when it's available, and nobody else has done that before?
Yeah, I mean, she definitely presents herself well. I won't take that away from her. She's very professional, even in her apparel. But my issue is that she finds the job. To me, it seems like she finds the job a little bit beneath her. And what I work at is a very multicultural place. There are definitely a lot of Black and brown people that work there. It's probably more of us than anyone. And the people we service tend to be Black and brown. So she is a little bit of, out. She stands out because she's not necessarily from the community, and she doesn't necessarily look like majority of the people we service. And so, I mean, yeah, she presents herself well, but there are other conduct things that she's done that I feel like if it had been someone like myself when I was coming up into the agency and had done something like that, I feel like I would have definitely been written up or penalized or something. And I just feel like they kind of like give her like a little tap on the hand, kind of like coddling, and then allow her to just continue. And, there are times where she acts like she doesn't have work to do. There's always work to do. And putting your feet up on your desk, acting relaxed, like everything's super easy. Like it just, to me, is just like, like obviously you think you have this job in the bag.
It's like a slap in the face almost.
Whereas someone like myself has been there 6 years, there's always going to be challenges to the job.
Right. And so Elevate with Vern, really I'll just call her Vern. If you guys haven't got a chance yet, follow Vern because she has awesome stuff out there. And plus she actually likes to do a prayer every time she goes live. But don't worry about the tears. She means well. But so she commented and said, this is why you don't stay at a company longer than 5 years. You lose your value. Do you think that's true?
That's yeah.
I
agree and disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree what she's saying, and I think it depends on the company. I will say for me, like this particular situation I'm describing doesn't affect me at all, and I've actually been able to significantly increase my income at the workplace I'm at, right now, and hopefully that increase will continue next month, God willing. So I know that I've gained value in the company, but I feel like working with someone like her, that could diminish my value. The thing about microaggressions is they aren't micro when it comes to the impact that they have. Like, so I can see someone like her and maybe half the time that I've been there being able to elevate herself further because of how she presents herself. Although I'm just as professional, I don't even want to say how she presents herself, how she looks. I feel like I can see her elevating herself further. But okay. I get what she's saying. Like it really does depend on the company. Like, yes, you can certainly lose value for sure after a certain amount of time. And thank you, girl. This is motivation to be looking for another job.
Right. Now, because there's a Forbes article that I have pulled up, but before I get to that, actually it's a CNBC article. But before I do that, what I wanted to discuss is, are you looking to have her replace you so you can move on to other things?
Oh, do I want this particular person to Laverne? I'm sorry, not Laverne. What do we call the girl? Anon, the one that works with me.
Oh, you ain't got to pull up full name. Like, you can call her. We can call her Clarice or something, I guess.
Clarice. Okay, so am I looking for her to replace me so that I can move up?
Yes.
No, because I think there's already someone that was there before her that I feel like shows up, does the best that she can every day. She's been there longer. I feel like she's been pretty loyal to the company, and I just feel like she's a little bit more deserving of the opportunity first. And then if she doesn't, then yes, I can certainly see the other girl filling in. But like I said, I think she believes the job is easy and beneath her. So I don't see her staying at the company long anyway. Because one thing I will say is my company rewards you for longevity and work ethic. So it is really about seniority. But I feel like, I don't know, that girl's pretty good at finessing. I'm sure she can figure out another department to go to.
Just leave your apartment alone. I got you.
Yeah, like don't affect my job. That's all. Because I have been in positions where I have ended up training people, and they ended up getting promoted over me. So I'm training them and setting them up to go somewhere else. And I've learned from that I don't want to be in that position again. And if I feel like that, I don't want to share all of my knowledge that I have with this particular person if this is someone that you're already thinking to promote above me. So, yeah.
Got you. So,
That's
I mean,
things like,
that's a whole nother episode on its own. um, so the CNBC article has that I have up here says half of Black workers want to quit. Here's what companies can
Mhm.
do better. Before we dive into what they have on here, what they can do better, do you think that your company can do something a little better?
I do. I mean, in terms of diversifying our office, that's already there. But I think that they could have more workshops and things like that that are centered around race. I mean, we have workshops for everything else. I've just never seen them have workshops regarding race and, you know, how to navigate or be respectful to each other in the office. I think that is something that they should look into, how to respect different people's cultures and, you know, just overall being aware of your own microaggressions and silent discrimination and racism. I don't know. I think they should definitely do something pertaining to that since they like to do workshops for everything else. So
Got you.
maybe I'll suggest that.
Yeah, because it seems like they're very open to trying out new things. Um,
Hmm.
and then what they can do is a way to change that. So let's look at some of these key points that they have on this website. So they say that Black workers seem to be among the most unhappy employees, within 49% saying they want to quit, according to a recent Indeed survey. Then they have the reasons include lack of pay transparency, a misalignment of personal values with company values, and the desire for more diverse leadership. But you said that's already checked. You have all of that. And obviously the pay transparency, because how else would you know, right? And then
Hmm.
the last bullet here, they say to retain Black workers, companies need to do better of recruiting diverse leadership for senior positions. But you said they have all of that. So, and with you already sharing that, hey, your company is already doing the stuff that it's supposed to do. It's just that it's missing out that key piece of it seems like they don't have a set promotion structure. Whereas it's like, hey, it's like plain black and white just to say this is what it is and how you can move forward. There isn't a clear line for that. Does that sound accurate?
Right. No, I agree.
Nice. Wow. Look at me going something right. No, that's right. You know what I'm saying? Getting it in. So I get right applause to myself. So because as we talked about the microaggressions, I want to start talking about these network opportunities. So, when it comes to network opportunities, we find that it's kind of hard to get inside some of the professional networks that can also limit and share tips on how to actually expand your circle. So, expanding your circle amongst your friends, even within the workplace, is it a big company where you can reach out to different sections or something like that to kind of expand your circle with other people within that community? Or is it just kind of like a solo type deal?
No, we can definitely, yeah, reach. Yeah, no, definitely not solo.
Nice. And so do you find out like do they keep you outside some of the conversations? What is that like? Like a typical like, you know, meeting with people, because it's tough out there sometimes. And like sometimes you just need another shoulder to lean on to kind of have that discussion of what takes you um what makes you better. And do you have like a mentor or something like that? I'm sorry I'm asking all these questions at once, but
No, you're fine. I mean, honestly, talking to family and friends, I feel like that's very therapeutic and healing. Talking to a therapist from time to time is definitely helpful as well. And honestly, I keep myself busy and I find activities to do. That's kind of sort of is like my foundation. But having discussions definitely I feel very comfortable having it with friends and family.
Awesome. And at least you got that support system. Because I'm looking at a Forbes article, because I found articles for everything. Which I'm reading
Hmm.
here that's titled "How Are White Networks Excluding Young People of Color from Career Access and Opportunity?" And it's like a 6-minute clip, but ultimately it's a that they talking about the fact in life that 80% of us get jobs through networks. And if you reflect on your own career path, you'll no doubt find that at least one job, and probably more, that came through a personal or professional connections, whether colleagues, family, alumni groups, or friends, or a hidden job network where positions pass through closed networks. No college degree can on its own create pathways to a core building blocks of careers, and the internships, mentors, full-time jobs, and career achievement. Now, I can tell you, me personally, I think all of my jobs have came from a through my network. I think I even got this
Hmm.
job from our mutual friend. Uh, I give her a
Same.
shout out, Jasmine. She actually been on the show, so y'all can actually look her up. She did it Mind by Choice episode. But with in each like each job that I've bounced around is because of my network. And it was either from other colleagues, or I went out and expanded my network to other managers in other departments. And they were nice enough to go ahead on and without I think I was in the process of finishing out my master's and I was getting my first cert. And then they was like, cool, this is the only cert that we need for you. So you can go ahead on and start
Hmm.
joining. And that's how I was able to kind of leverage to one of the jobs
And
before I
move
got,
up.
yep, to move up and out. So have you found that
Yeah,
building a network?
I would say my jobs definitely are from referrals from friends. So I understand that. And that's how I've been able also to move up because one friend elevated last year, at the end of last year, to another position and recommended me. And so I got promoted. So definitely need inside people.
Yeah. So with that being said, if somebody came to you, like what qualifications do you think somebody would need to if they want to reach out to you? Like right now, they listen to you, they was like, you know what? I wanna be part of what Patrice is doing. What type of skill sets would they need?
You definitely need to be computer savvy and be able to work with different programs and websites at once. You need to be good with researching and following the paper trail. I deal with in our department, a lot of financial counseling, budget counseling. So you definitely need to be somewhat good with numbers and basic math. And you also need to understand finances. You need to understand a credit report. You need to understand bank statements, income, how to calculate someone's income, you know. Um, so yeah, you got to understand ratios and debt to income ratios. So you have to be somewhat immersed into like finances a little bit and have some sort of understanding of how mortgages work to be able to to get into that sort of career path. And we're hiring. We're always hiring. There are other departments. Um, so if anyone's interested in looking for work, hit me up.
All right. Well, hit me up because you guys, my stuff is public. We'll work that out on the back end.
But yeah,
Right. So,
yeah.
um, yeah, I won't put your business out there. So, so we want to tie this on over because we understand that the networks and opportunities. You guys, if your network sucks, you need to learn how to get a better network. And one of the ways is to kind of build that network is I'm using a small snippet. Well, one of the examples from Stephen Covey's. how to win friends and influence people, is to come up with a common theme, some type of excitement that you guys can bond over, whether it's going out to happy hours, even though really don't want to, even if you can't afford to really go to a happy hour, you can always get the fries and water. If the fries are banging, just stay with the fries. Okay. If they got cheap drinks, they might be $3 draft beers. You might not like beer, then either you don't drink a beer, just continue with the water, or if you're okay with beer, just get the draft, whatever that they have locally. Usually you can't go wrong with most with the low IPAs. And that's what I typically do. So that's how I build my network, is through happy hours. I was actually at one today. So I was a little late today because of stupid traffic. But building those relationships and bridging the connections of your different groups of friends. And that's what I utilize to kind of help build that connection. So find something that the team is doing. And even if you really don't want to be part of it, go ahead on and be part of it anyway. You'll be surprised at what people, how people actually react when they outside the office versus when they are in the office. Do you agree? Or how do you build your network? Did we lose you, Patrice?
I 100%
Oh,
agree. Happy hour is a great way to, or common interest is a great way to network, because I think you get to sort of let down your guards a little bit and people open up, and then that causes you to connect more in the office space. Um, I think sometimes you might have to find your tribe too. Like there are Facebook groups. Social media is also a good way of connecting with people. Um, I don't, if it's in terms of like being in the office and connecting with people, sometimes you just have to go up to people and ask questions, make conversation. Um, Sometimes you might have to discuss personal things in order to get them to open up and get to know you a little bit more. Um, so
yeah.
yeah.
Because got Carla. Welcome to comments. So Carla says she missed happy hour a little bit. Carla, you miss happy hours a lot because we used to do trivia nights. Messing around saying you miss happy hours. But yeah, so Carla and I, we used to actually run out and go get lunch and drink on lunch breaks and then go back to work. Fun times. Obviously I have to continue this show because we talking about the earnings, right? Um and with the earnings, I have a report here from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Hopefully I said that right. I saying the Bureau. And what they were saying is like this is a report from 2021 stats, and they saying earnings by race and ethnicity. Asian women and men earn more than their white, black, and Hispanic counterparts in 2021. Among women, whites $925 and earned 81% as much as Asians $1,141. Blacks $776 earn 68%, and Hispanics $718 earned 63%. Now, everybody loves graphs, and if you just want to look at the graphs, I would say they split it men to women, and I would say there's still a gap in pay for women in the workplace. Eventually, we'll get there, but even looking at just the stats alone, black women are getting closer to making as much as black men. But for every other race, it looks like there's at least a more than 20% gap in pay differences between the races. I hate the word races, but we just going in context here. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. And yes, Carla, you do miss, you keep messing with my accent. All right, we're gonna kick you off the show. uh that Baltimore accent. You got a Baltimore accent, don't you? Or no? Patrice. Did you hang up? I think Patrice.
No, I'm either. My phone is dying.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, since it's about to die, is there any last thing you want to say before you hang up?
I definitely agree with the big point that you made about finding your group, your tribe, that can help push you forward. I feel like when one of us or a bunch of us actually get into good positions, we can definitely help elevate each other. And so that's kind of the biggest takeaway that I'm getting from this is definitely when we all, because I want to help someone elevate someone. Like I said, I mentioned before, I want to see the other individual that's been there longer elevate. So I mean, I feel like when we all get into those sort of positions to be able to do that, that's what we should be pushing for, to get more of us in the space that look like us, and the less microaggressions we'll have to deal with. Because then people will have to learn and unfortunately be taught how to operate properly in an office with someone that it doesn't look like them. So, and I'll keep watching. So thank you
Awesome.
for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for calling in. I greatly appreciate you sharing your expertise and also your knowledge with the family. Because we all about that wallet. So have a good one and have a blessed day and continue to watch. Hmm?
I said hashtag about the wallet.
Hey, thank you. All right, you have a good one. See ya.
You
All right, you guys. So you just heard from Patrice, and what she was talking about is how she was impacted at work just from some of the microaggressions that's happening. And so one of those things I want you to think about is how to navigate as a black professional inside the workplace. And one of those things is that, all right, we already talked about the microaggressions, how to address them, and how to and what are they. First, you need to understand what are they. Then you need to understand what are the impacts of that. Now, if you act upon them, obviously we know we can talk about it can impact your dollar, that bottom dollar. Okay. Hey, Kamari, you know what it is, all right? You know what I'm saying? If you guys are watching the show, make sure you go ahead on and follow the Finance Rebel. I mean, Kamari is a history buff. I mean, he can just go on and on about anything. But I highly recommend. Definitely a great guy to follow. Um, and he's also been on the show as well. And one of the things I really do like about his content is that it's very engaging. It keeps you on your toes, and he's talking about current events and also bringing in some of the historical events from either books that he's read, things that he's experienced as well. So make sure you guys follow him. And Kamari, yes, we're taking phone calls because what I'm saying, this how we roll on the About That Water show. All right. So if you guys want to be a caller, just like Patrice, go on and give us a call at 833-699-2558 so we can have this discussion about being a black professional in this space. I mean, because I don't think a lot of financial podcasts are actually talking about this. I think it's one of those hidden conversations. And because they're hidden conversations, it's kind of under the shadows. And I think this is a fair conversation to have open and publicly, to recognize like, hey, we have issues too, but how do we say it publicly or even privately with each other, to so that we don't have to worry about reparations or is it reprimanding or being reprimanded for just kind of acknowledging that individual. And do we take that moment to be an educational one? And once it's an educational situation, we can actually move beyond to um, to a greater work environment. So Kamari did suggest a book. I love book recommendations. Thank you for having them on here. Thank you. So the book recommendation from Kamari is called Never Eat Alone. I have yet to hear, I've heard of it, but I have yet to read it. Um, So the book is called Never Eat Alone, and it is by, for those of you who are listening, it is by Keith Ferrazzi, Ferrazzi, Ferrazzi. Okay, so if you're actually looking for it, go ahead on and pick that up. As you know, and you've been following this show, make sure you use your library card because you can actually download those for digital books and you can listen to audiobooks. That's how I listened to at least 40 books so far this year. Okay. I cannot thank the library for saving me so much money and allowing me to gain all this information so that I can continue to pour in to you. All right. So, hey, you say you never miss opportunity for drinks. Hey, we got drinks in the chat, so you know what time it is. Let's get it going. I'm drinking water. All right, what are you guys drinking out there? What are you guys drinking out there? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. Because you know what time it is. So since I'm over here sipping on water because I was at happy hour, don't judge me. Alrighty. So we got Circle Flavor Honey Crisp. Is that a drink? Oh, shit. All right. Back to the show. Because we said drinks in the chat. Y'all know how it goes. Only About That Water podcast. We drink. You can drink whatever. Now, the reason why we drink, because for those of you who are new to the show, the reason why we drink for just to be thankful. You know what I'm saying? This is our moment to relax, to just come down a little bit from the day. You can drink water, you can drink your smoothie, you can have whatever you're fancying for the day. You just want to give thanks, and I want you to just take a moment, just maybe 10 seconds, just kind of say thank you. Say thank you to yourself. Thank you for waking up, okay? Thank you for having the ability to pay your bills today. Thank you because it's the first of the month to be able to pay your rent or your mortgage. Thank you for breathing. Thank you for this hydration. Yes, because I need as much hydration from drying out this alcohol. But also thank you for not giving up on you. And I think Snoop Dogg said, I thank me for not giving up on me. And that's one of the things that I want you to never forget. Okay. You're not giving up on yourself. You're not giving up on your habits. And that commitment to not give up on yourself is top tier. All right. So let's see. We got margarita, a watermelon margarita. Nice. Sounds like something tasty. All right. So the last thing that we got that I want to make sure we touch on is we touched on the wage gap. We touched on the lack of networking opportunities and the microaggressions. So we already talked about how to overcome the microaggressions. We talked about the network opportunities or the lack thereof, and actually how to get inside that room. Because getting inside the room, you already heard from Patrice and even myself. Having that network gets you in the door. Sometimes they can slide things through, and also you're running on the coattails of somebody else. So if that person put you through, that means you need to show up and show out. and make sure that you're doing your best. Even if you don't like the management and it's time to go, talk to the person that recommended you on the best way to leave. Now, when it comes to the wage gap, that is something that will impact so many people. It's more likely systemic than it is the individual. Now, I can say one of the things is that when it comes to the wage gap, I'm not sure if you guys notice this, but women will not apply for a job unless they feel like they're 96% or maybe anywhere between 89 to almost 96% ready to actually perform the job that is on the job recommendations. But a guy, if they say, "Hey, can you write your name on a sheet of paper?" And then the next job was like, the next line item was like, "Hey, can you code in Python?" They was like, "Yeah, I can code in Python. I can write my name." And then didn't even bother to read the rest of the description. A guy will apply for it. Just believe a guy would apply for it. Okay. So because the guy applied for it and nobody else applied for it, the guy will more than likely get the job. So when it comes to the giving up on those opportunities, a lot of women usually will stay at a job a lot longer than the guys. I'm saying usual. I'm not saying all women. This is the usual case. Okay. Don't beat me up, but I've experienced it multiple times. I've I've chat with people that I know personally. I chat with people who I don't even know. And we were talking about like how do you navigate to a new job? And they will look at the job recommendations and be like, no, I can't do the job. I was like, yo, you're already doing like 60% of this. It was like, but I don't know the other 40%. I was like, just apply. Okay. And because you did not apply to the job, you're actually missing out and giving up that extra raise that you're looking for. You're fighting for something that you know you're doing well currently in your job, that you can actually keep moving up to the next um to that next rung that you want to do, even when it comes to finding applying a job. So they talking about guys making six figures. Okay, women can make six figures easily. And to me personally, I actually enjoy women in the workplace because one, I know that they will do a good job. Two, their tenacity is ridiculous. Okay. It's really on it. So Kamara, you said that read it. It speaks directly to your topic tonight. Yes, I'm gonna definitely make sure I read that book. I'm gonna add it to my list. I'm actually preparing for FinCon. Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I'm actually a speaker at FinCon this year because I was actually an attendance last year, but now I'm a speaker. Isn't that great, guys? So because I'm a speaker this time around, I'm actually learning how to speak. Even though I speak with you guys all the time, it's a little different when I have an audience. Right now, my only audience is the bear that I got, and obviously, you guys are here with me, but it's not like in person, so you guys don't get to see like all of this. That's I have like my whole microphone set up, keyboards, and monitors all over the place. But one of the things is that because I'm a speaker, if you guys actually want to attend it, it's in New Orleans this year. And because it's in New Orleans, this is gonna be fun. I'm not even sure what I'm gonna do with myself because I've never been to New Orleans. Do y'all have any recommendations for New Orleans, like where to go, um, or food to check out? But I'm really curious on like what to do when I get there. And I think they got like a little highlights from 2022. I can share that with you guys. Let me see if I can share that. They might have a clip of me in here. And let's see, share. So you guys can see this. Let's see. do that.
Affects every single part of our lives, and for so many people it's overwhelming and intimidating, and so I want to be part of a community that makes it less overwhelming and intimidating for everyone. And so when we get together and share our knowledge with each other, that increases all of our impacts and helps make the world a better place, one person at a time.
Sometimes when you're creating content from your bedroom or wherever it is in your house, you feel like there's a lot and a lot of noise, and like a lot of people is already creating all the content out there. But once you come out here, you realize what your unique perspective is.
Oh yeah, they were giving out lifesavers, and I was like, I really want one of those.
The culture here is so inclusive.
And there was a lot of these balls just like flying all over the place, so there was like never ending. I mean, it was quite a bit of. It was so much fun though. It was great.
Oftentimes when you go to conferences, everyone's off in their own little silo. FinCon did a phenomenal job with being able
And this lady right here, she is so cool, by the way. Like if you ever meet her in person.
to unite so many different types of money nerds.
Just the amount of relationships I've been able to start building here, and the connections made through.
I'm trying to get Chris on the show because he's local with us, and so I'm trying to get him on the show as well soon. But he has a pretty good podcast as well.
Through, just meeting someone, and then they refer you to someone else because they know that it could be a benefit.
You don't have to explain exactly who you are and what you do. You feel like you're home.
Hey, y'all know that guy right there? Look at that. Look at that. Y'all see that guy? Who's that? That's me. Let me go back just a little bit so y'all can see me in this commercial. This was the first night. They gave us unlimited drinks, so pay me no mind. I was just vibing out, okay? I didn't even know that I was in this commercial. But yeah, so this was the first night. They bust us all over to this awesome place. They pretty much rented out the whole venue. So that was actually pretty cool. And obviously my hair was a lot better, and I was wearing a watch.
I've learned from
And the guy that's dancing, I actually had him on the show. He does real rental secrets. So please check out that episode. We were talking about getting new buildings and how to rent one out and everything like that. So it's pretty cool.
minded creators that have been successful in the space, before me. It's one thing to watch and follow suit. It's another thing to have dedicated sessions on specific topics that are relevant to my business.
I've been able to grow my business through a lot of the friendships and the connections I've made here at FinCon.
I can say I owe my career to FinCon. There's a straight line between my first FinCon in 2011 and the first book that I wrote.
We're all here about, how to build businesses, but I think it's more than just the money. What I've learned is more people are just trying to make an impact.
There's just so much authenticity, and people lead with so much heart in this community. FinCon has been the best place for me to be.
All right, so that was the highlight from 2022. Just wanted to share that because I was like, what? I'm actually talking this time. So I just want to say that, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for supporting the show and helping me actually excel this podcast so that now I'm actually talking on at a platform. Like, this thing is huge. So I just want to say thank you guys for everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, this is why we drink. Thank you. Let me that's for you all. Thank you. So if you guys are excited about going to the FinCon, if you guys want to join me there, you can use the promo code about that wallet, all one word. So I'm not going to show it up on the screen because, you're already on the show. So because I was actually talking about the FinCon side of the house, and so Kamari, you asked a question. You had a question here. And you said, how many books am I reading? Are you reading? Right now, I'm reading. I try to read one audiobook at a time. So I started from beginning to end. And one of the things I realized that I have a habit of playing all of the audiobooks at X2 speed. Because I play them at X2 speed, I'm able to get through maybe a 5 hour audiobook about maybe say about 3 hours. So it can take me less than a day to kind of get through most of these. And because I'm reading at such a good pace, what I try to do is at least take maybe 2 or 3 takeaways that I would know that I will remember, and action items that I can do either that day or what I would do throughout the week. So, for example, the book that I'm currently reading, again, you got to love the library. Make sure you use your library and utilize that card as much as possible. You're paying the taxes anyway. So, why not go to your local library, get your library card, download the app called Libby, and you can listen to audiobooks. So this book that I'm reading right now is called Before You Say Anything. Now, the reason why I picked up this book or picked it up was because she is the only person that I've came across that is actually a speech writer. Everybody else talk about different speeches and talk about like analyzing other people's speeches, but she is an actual speech writer. And what she is going through is talking to people about their lives and how they can actually provide impact to the audience that they're giving it to. And she's noticing that every time she goes to like maybe a wedding, a birthday, maybe even a funeral, she is writing speeches for that particular audience. She always talks about the call to action. She's talking about the feelings that people are going to feel after you do your speech. Who is the audience? And what childhood life experiences that you can utilize today to help motivate the people going forward. And, you know, this is one of the things that we got to look into uh, as we do our speeches. So now I'm actually analyzing different speeches and figuring out what is the best way to say my speech within 10 minutes because it's more of a conversational piece. I want to make it more of a Q&A. And because it's more of a Q&A, how to now bring people into it. I'm only in chapter 9, part 4, chapter 9 of the book. I'm only 71% way through. And then I got like 2 other books to go through. And then that would actually cover everything else. So, yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's the book that I'm reading right now. But so far, because I've been using, the library card, I am I think I said about 40 books so far this year. And again, I just picked it up midway this year. So maybe around June, maybe April or June. Um, I haven't been really adamant, but now that I'm getting close, I'm speed reading through most of these books. And I have to say that I really love and enjoy listening to some of these. Some of them I don't even finish because some people don't talk, like they don't have that fluctuation or anything like that. But again, if you guys are looking for as books when it comes to racial um, dealing with being black in finance, I mean not black finance, but a black professional inside of financial space. The book that we have here that was recommended, again, the show notes if you guys are watching this is through Chat GPT, so don't tell nobody. But the book that is recommended, Pitfalls and recommended book. They have here, it's a must read. It's called hmm. Oh, Black Faces in White Places 10 Game Changing Strategies to Achieve Success and Find Greatness by Randall Pinkett and Dr. Jeffrey Robinson. So, if that's something that I would highly recommend, because I think this is a good conversation starter. Even just having the book around, you'll be surprised. When I was used to catch the metro to work in DC, that was one of the things that that was a great conversation piece. for the different books that I was reading. So again, if you want to build your network, you got to look at the books that you're reading. You'd be surprised. A lot of people actually do read books that you think don't read books. So for the book, again, this is this one here. I'm not sure if it's big enough on you guys' screen. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. So again, it's called Black. It was written in 2010. Pretty good book, and I say highly recommend to check this one out. If you're a white person at the workplace, hey, why not pick up the book? Learn something. It could be beneficial. For those of you who are in diversity, inclusion, and equality, and I think they call it accessible. So it's DEIA now. Can y'all hear me okay? I think I went muted. Let me see. Okay. So because it's DEIA, and if you are in those programs, I think this will be a good book to kind of have as a read along for the group, to go cover to cover. And I'm actually going to see if this book is available on my library card. Now, each library is a little different. So if the book is not available for your library, you can always just kind of put it on hold, or even talk to your librarian and see if they can actually order it. Hey, you know what? This book is available on audiobooks, you guys. Let me see if I can show you. So this is what I'm gonna go ahead on and do. Y'all seeing this live? So the book is available. So I'm going on and add this to my reading list so I can read this on the flight to New Orleans. So I look forward to having this as something to read. All right. I think that's kind of it for the show. What I want you to do, as this is my call to action. So I want you to take a moment to go ahead on and like, subscribe if you've been watching already a minute of this show. And I want you to leave a comment. Leave a comment about the microaggressions that you've experienced. And it can just be just a one-liner. Just leave it open. And either A, you can actually leave it open, or B, talk about how you were able to overcome the microaggression, and if it does impact you in some way. Because I think this is something that's going to be a great conversation starter that we all need to have, and shed light on the issue. And a lot of people just don't know that they're doing it. And I think it's our job, for those of you who will see it or even witness it, to take a moment to just have a discussion about it. You'll be surprised of what could come out of it. It could come into a friendship. It could come into, other opportunities open up. We're talking about networking, right? So these are different things. I just don't want you to feel like you're stuck and that you have to move all the time. You could just sit down and have that open discussion about the microaggressions that somebody has given to you in the workplace. You can have that discussion openly about the financial issues that you're observing. So please make sure you guys do that. If anything else, I just want to thank you all and look forward to signing up for that newsletter. For those of you who haven't signed up for my newsletter, it's aboutthatwallet.com/newsletter, so that you can go ahead on and get signed in, and we can leave lovely comments. And I want to keep you posted on things going forward. I haven't sent one out in a while because I felt like the content wasn't there. And I want to make sure that I'm giving you good, useful content, not just anything. So again, thank you all. Look forward to hearing what you have to say, and y'all be safe. I'm out. Peace.